Are you trying to decide between Princess Cruises and Holland America Line for your next cruise vacation? In this video, we'll help you make an informed decision by comparing the two premier cruise lines. From onboard amenities and dining options to itineraries and shore excursions, we'll dive into the details to help you determine which cruise line is the best fit for you. Whether you're a first-time cruiser or a seasoned sailor, this video will provide you with valuable insights to make your cruise planning easier.
Hi all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're cruising good time. Choosing the best cruise line for you on your cruise vacation is critical to having a very fun vacation. We've done a lot of videos on both Princess and on Holland America Line, and then we've had a lot of viewers say, hey, which one's the best? Can you do a comparison video of those two? So that's what we're going to do on this particular video. And in this video, we're going to break it down into several different categories that we're going to evaluate the two cruise lines on. Those being the itinerary, shore excursions, ship, cabin, the atmosphere on the ship, apps and medallions, entertainment, and we're going to break that into several subcategories, food, which is also broken into several subcategories, non-dining services, guest services, laundry, packages, and Wi-Fi. There will be a total of 22 total categories we're going to score the two cruise lines on.
On this head-to-head comparison, we decided to have a scoring system that was kind of simple. Items that aren't equivalent, where one cruise line is slightly better than the other, it gets 1 star. If it's better than the other, it gets 2 star. If it's significantly better than the other cruise line, it gets 3 stars. And when we started this, I really did not know how this was going to work out, what our really final outcome. So it's been very exciting.
It really has. I was quite surprised because once we started putting all the information together and building the script and all, we were very surprised about where this went.
So both of these cruise lines are really known for being fabulous for going to Alaska. And at the end of this video, we're going to give you on thoughts on which one is best. The first category that we're going to talk about is itineraries. Boy, we frequently select our cruise based on the itinerary. And both Princess and Holland America go to amazing places around the world. And we have selected some cruises with Princess, some with Holland America. In fact, we have cruises booked with both of these cruise lines in the future. I'm going to give them an equal score in this category.
Takes us into our next category, which is the shore excursions. And both premium cruise lines are owned by Carnival Corporation. They have very similar type of shore excursions on them, both in terms of the variety, the number of shore excursions they offer at each port, and the various types of them. So they'll have some that are really easy just to get on the bus and go sightseeing, to some that are moderate, to some that are quite active, like zip lining or rafting and some stuff like that take a lot of bit of energy. So I have a good selection of all of those. All the ones we've done through both cruise lines we've been very happy with. So you get to see whatever you're going to go see on that. I'm going to give the nod slightly to Hal on the shore excursions, simply because you don't have to mess with a paper ticket. They've gone paperless on that. I know Princess has some rumors about going paperless, but as of today, they're still having the paper on there. So nod's going to go with Hal on this because you can use your app or just your cruise card as a ticket to get onto the shore excursion.
Our next category is ships. Now, we have sailed on over 20 Princess cruises, and we have been on every size ship that Princess has to offer, except for the Sphere class. And we're going to be on one of those in October.
Mm-hmm.
And on Holland America, we've been 21 days at sea, but only on 2 ships, and it was in their Pinnacle class ship, which is their top-of-the-line newest ships. And we really put a lot of thought on how to make sure we try to be equivalent when we have these talks. And, like so much with Princess, you think about just one bad experience you had or the overall. And we've really worked hard to be fair-minded about this discussion. Oh, and on Princess ships, though, I have to say, I've really loved every Princess ship I've been on, well, with one exception, and that's the Caribbean Princess. So when we do these talks, we're really talking about all of Princess except for the Caribbean Princess. And then we're looking at Holland America, their Pinnacle class for the most part. And I have to say, I love the Pinnacle class ship too. These are really beautiful ships. They tend to be a smaller size than some of the Princess ships. So when you're looking at size, Princess only has 2 cruise ships that go through the historic older locks in the Panama Canal, and that's the Island Princess and the Coral Princess. Where Holland America, all their ships fit through those historical canal locks. So that is one big difference between the ships. But I love the ships, and I never feel crowded in any of them.
They're both very good ships. I do agree with you on that. One thing I like about Princess is the Piazza area. There's always something happening in Piazza, whether it's crew versus the passengers trivia and Jenga, or there's a band going, or just somebody playing violin music. There's always something going on in Piazza. It's kind of the heart of the ship. Lots happening there. On Holland America, they had an atrium, but it was kind of dead. There wasn't anything going on there with that. And so it was a little disappointing in there. It's kind of pretty, but nothing compared to what Princess offers in that part of the ship.
Yeah, and another really important part of the ship for me is the Lido deck. I love the water. I love sunshine. And frequently there's a lot of activities that go on the Lido deck. So this is kind of interesting for me because on Holland America, they have one of the pools has a retractable roof. And I love this because no matter where you are in the world, they can have the temperature comfortable, and it will be filled with people who are out there hanging out by the pool because they can control the weather. And I just love that about Holland America.
Yep. And if you've watched any of our videos, you've seen Becky swim all over the world, from Arctic Ocean to the Caribbean.
You know, the other part is like they have the hot tubs there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, on the hot tub, I was disappointed with the hot tubs on the Holland America Line for a couple reasons. One is they wouldn't serve you a drink in the hot tub, which I thought was just insane because you're in the hot tub and I'm on vacation. I want a beverage. And then the other is they had these kind of shells around them, which really obscured your view looking out. So couldn't just look out of the hot tub, look over your shoulder and see the ocean. You kind of had this little casing around you, which is a little weird there in that case.
Yeah, again, I thought, well, maybe they want you to have privacy in your hot tub, but certainly you don't need that much privacy in your hot tub.
If you need that much privacy in your hot tub, you just need to go to your room.
Another very important thing about the Lido deck is how many activities that go on it. When you're on a Princess ship and you're on the main pool, they frequently will have like a DJ or a live band, and they'll have theater under the stars operating, and they may be playing a concert or a movie, or they may have music and have those like kind of cool slideshows.
Yes, one of the things I love about the Theater Under the Stars is if you're just hanging out during the pool during the day, they may, if they don't have a movie or a concert going on, they'll have some slides of different types of destinations they'll go to. We always kind of play a trivia game of who can identify the destination first. Or they'll even have some what I'd call silent trivia up there where you just have trivia questions and then the answers slowly go away to get the right one. Those are always kind of fun to play. The screen on the Pinnacle class ships for Holland America, I was very disappointed in. It's a very low definition screen. It was very grainy when you looked at it compared to what you get on any stadium jumbotron, and certainly compared to what Princess will do with their Theater Under the Stars. So Princess definitely has a better product in terms of the screen, I think.
With Princess, I have been amazed that even during bright sunshine in the Caribbean, you can clearly see the movie, and it's this giant, beautiful screen. Where Holland America's, it's smaller and has less definition, which is really sad for ships that are that new. Oh, by the way, we did see at least one guitar player up at Holland America, but typically there was not a lot going on the Lido deck. Oh, but I better give a shout out because I did love going to the line dancing up there. You know, it's funny though, although we talked a lot about the things we love about Princess ships, all in all, we really loved the house ship. It was a beautiful ship. It was really well designed. We're grading them equivalent. Our next category is comparing stateroom cabins. And this is kind of difficult because so many different ships, so many different designs, so many different things. So for generalities, we have found that the Princess cruise ships have a little bit more storage than Holland America does. Yep. And one of the things for Holland America is that their balcony cabins have a love seat in them. So most of the Princess cruise ships do not have like a love seat or sofa in a normal balcony cabin. They have plenty of cabins that offer that, but the standard balcony does not. Now, if you go in the Spherical class, which is Princess top of the line, yeah, there is a sofa in their balcony cabins. So that's part of why it's hard to
Yep.
make them equivalent. One thing I love about Holland America is they have a makeup mirror in the room, and in the shower they offer shampoo, conditioners, and body wash. And if you've watched any of our videos, you know that Princess offers body wash in a combined shampoo and conditioner, which I consider to not be very good at either thing. All in all, I consider these cabins pretty equal, and I'm happy to stay in either type.
So our next category is atmosphere, just kind of the atmosphere about the ship. And we really enjoyed both cruise lines a lot. They both had a very good atmosphere. Both cruise lines do a great job in managing their crowds. You don't feel very crowded in them. There's usually pretty easy to find a seat or a lounge someplace up on deck. And there wasn't a whole lot of waiting in the lines except for like at gift services sometimes, and then of course the buffet. So we'll talk about the buffet later on in the video.
You know, and many people ask us about the demographics on Holland America. So often the demographics really kind of depend on how long the cruise is and what destination it's going to. However, I would say that Holland America tends to have a little bit older crowd than Princess does. And both have a children's program, but it's not as large as what you would say that they have like on Carnival or Royal Caribbean. However, our children absolutely love the children's program on Princess throughout the years.
Another thing to look at within atmosphere is the special touches that the cruise line includes. And within Holland America, I really enjoyed the cut crystal glasses we were served drinks in. And I really got a kick out of the carpet and the elevator because they changed that every day. You knew what day of the week it was just by looking at the floor of the elevator.
You know, and Holland America had so many things. Like we're on Glacier Bay, they brought by hot split pea soup. Pretty awesome to get it while you're standing in the cold. And then they have Orange Night. Yep. That's pretty fun. The decoration, the excitement on this ship. I like it that they came by and they've given us, you know, like they had hors d'oeuvres, so to speak, over there at the dance floor. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I was skeptical of the Orange Party, but I enjoyed it on both ships that we were on. It was a lot of fun.
You know, another like simple thing is Holland America put a scale in the elevator lobby like the last few days for disembarkation, so you could weigh your luggage and check that you weren't above any limits that were going to cost you extra fees at the airlines. You know, for me, it was the special touches for Holland America that made me think that they get a nod above Princess for the atmosphere. The next category is apps and medallions. So all the major cruise lines have an app, but only Princess has a medallion. And this is kind of a long, complex thing of all the benefits of the medallion. But I guess I'd like to start off with the main dining room. So for Holland America, if you want to just see traditional dining or late dining, you can try to book that through your travel agent, and you're not going to know for a while if you've got it or not, but you can make the request. If you're doing anytime dining on Holland America, you cannot make any pre-cruise reservations. You have to get on the ship, you have to go stand in line and make your reservations, and you're going to get whatever is available. I hate not knowing that I can get what I want before a cruise. So I love it that on Princess, you can make all your main dining room reservations on the app, whether it's traditional seating or anytime dining for the main dining room. I will say for specialty dining, you know, where it's extra money, both cruise lines will let you book in advance. Anyway, that's a big deal for me.
One thing I like about the Medallion is that it lets the ship know where you're at, right? So two things with that. One is I can order anything anywhere on the ship at any time. So if I want a glass of wine in my room, it'll come to my room. There's no extra charge for that, or in one of the lounges. If I'm by the pool and I want another bottle of suntan lotion, I could order that through the app and it'll be delivered to me on the pool. The other thing I like is that you can locate your companions really easy. So if I say, Becky, I'm going to meet you in the buffet, then I don't have to hunt around on her. I can look at the app and see, oh yeah, she's port side all the way forward. So it's real easy to go up there and just find you in a case like that.
Yeah, and by the way, in that story, we'd had the drink package. That's why all the drinks were free. But still, it's just marvelous that you use the app, things show up. So I also love how easy the Medallion makes it to just order a drink from a waiter.
Yeah. It's a really big game changer because the waiter knows who you are because the Medallion, you show up and call, right there at the lounge. They'll order it for you. There's no paper to deal with. They don't take your medallion away or anything like that. It just drink comes right there right away, and there's no signing for it. Holland America, it's a whole different animal because you got to get the waiter, flag them down, and then they're going to take your key cards off to the back room. So you're without that, and if it's gone for a while and you decide you want to change lounges, you're kind of out of luck. You got to wait for them to show up, and then to come back, and sometimes you have to sign paper for it, sometimes you don't. It's kind of hit or miss on that, it seems like, on which way it goes.
Well, I would say the majority of time you are signing paper anytime a drink comes in, and it's really kind of cumbersome. So with Holland America, you have to have your key cards with you all the time. So frequently women's clothing doesn't have a pocket, so I either have to carry a purse or wear a lanyard. But lanyard feels so much like work. I really hate the thought of carrying a lanyard. So you can tell that we're really into the technology and the improvement it brings. So for us, for apps and medallions, Princess gets 3 stars above Holland America.
No question about it. Our next category is entertainment. Now, entertainment's a very broad category, so we're going to take entertainment and we're going to break it into 4 different subcategories where we have enrichment talks, we're going to have music, we're going to have cruise director staff entertainment, and we're going to have the theater.
First is enrichment talks. And I would like to say that both of these cruise lines are 2 of the best in the industry on having fabulous enrichment talks. I really enjoy them. And on Holland America, I love that they had a naturalist who'd help you with wildlife spotting and different things aboard. On Princess, there's been so much great talks on different ports of call and just fun topics. However, Princess sometimes is a little bit more hit or miss on what topics they might cover in their enrichment talks. And Hal on our cruises there have been so on point. You know, I'm going to give the nod to Hal.
Yes, and within music, we're going to, within the live music category with the bands, we got to go with Hal on this. They do a great job. The way they recruit their musicians in there, whether it's B.B. King or the Rolling Stone Lounge or the Billboard, they get really high caliber musicians come in and perform. Great musicians. It was always great. And with Princess, we'd had some really good bands in the past. And honestly, we've had some bands that I'm sitting there thinking, why did you get the gig? They're not that good. So Hal definitely had that going for them as well. So beyond the live music aspect of it, there's also what we would call maybe the individual artists or some trios or duos of violinists or some piano players and some stuff like that. Princess is nice in that way because they have something always going on in the atrium like we talked about before. So there's almost always a violinist or a piano player that go in there if there's not a band. And a lot of the lounges have that as well. Another aspect of that is actually the DJ. Princess has Holland America beat on a DJ, there's no doubt about that, especially with the Skywalker's nightclub and some of the other nightclubs on the newer ships. There's always a DJ going, and it'll go pretty late at night. One of the drawbacks with music on Holland America is that it pretty much closes about 11:30, 11:45, depending on the last set is, and that's it. It's no more music after that point.
Yeah, and due to the early closing on Holland America, after a lot of debate, we decided to go with Holland America gets 2 stars better than Princess for the music.
Absolutely.
The next entertainment category is like the cruise staff entertainment. So this is line dancing on decks and trivia, but mostly I love all these interactive shows, like for Princess, the Yes No Game show. These I really, really enjoy and love. And Princess usually has something every night. Holland America will typically have something at night only when one of the live bands is having a dark night. So there's a lot less of that at night. And in the daytime, Holland America may have like a painting class and the line dancing, but not too much more. So Princess tends to have more activities offered during the day, and I really just have a good time with these. So I really prefer Princess on this. So we're going to give Princess the nod on this and give him 1 star for being better than Holland America.
The last of the subcategories we have in entertainment is the theater, which is what happens within the theater on any one of those ships. And we're not really big theater people, to be honest with you, so we don't go see every single show every night. But the shows we have seen on both of them, we've seen some we really liked, and we've seen some shows that we really didn't like as much. So we're going to give this a equal on both of them right there. They both have good productions. They're both solid, but we're going to call them equal in the theater.
Yeah, I agree. And they both have the same similar types of acts on both of the.
So our next category is food. And as you know, on a cruise ship, food is a huge subject. So we were going to break this down into 7 different subcategories. And the first one of those is going to be the main dining room. And in the main dining room, I really prefer Princess over Hal. I enjoyed the food better. I thought the service was better. And there's just a lot of little things in there too. Like the Princess has a lobster night on every cruise I've been on. We didn't have a lobster night on any of our Holland America ships. So it's a little bit of intangibles with that. But I think the service was nicer. You know, the maitre d' would kind of come by and visit with us on Princess and chit-chat with us. Even before we're elite, when we're just a nobody traveler, they would still come by and visit, make you feel at home and comfortable and all that. And so we really preferred the Princess service and the Princess food in the main dining room.
I completely agree. And sometimes on Holland America, it kind of felt like the waiter dropped off our food and ran away as if his pants were on fire. And I was trying to figure out that I never could be like, hey, can I have some ketchup? They were gone.
Yep.
You know, when I was trying to figure out, I've never had that problem on any of my Princess cruises. And then I remembered it's a simple thing. So on Princess, they always offer you freshly ground pepper. So there's no running away like your pants are on fire because you're going to come around and ask about the freshly ground pepper. Whereas on Holland America, they just leave it on this table for you to do yourself. So that was like a simple thing that was different, but it took me a minute to figure out why it felt so different. And then other things, like we went on lunch on the Alaska cruise. So while we were there, Holland America only offers lunch in the main dining room on sea days,
Yep.
which I also really don't like, whereas Princess offers it every day, including embarkation day. And for Holland America's lunch in Alaska, so one was called a brunch, an Alaskan brunch.
Yep.
And the food wasn't very good, and the waiter got the order wrong, so that was kind of disappointing. We went for a second lunch, and they only offered 2 things on the menu, and both were fish. So luckily, we really like fish. However, I got the fish and chips, and the chips were cold. I mean, they were room temperature. The fish was, I don't know, slightly above my temperature, so I managed to eat part of that. And I'll be honest, then I ran up to the buffet. So I was very disappointed in the main dining room on Holland America.
Meal for sure. But it's some of those intangibles, like just taking the time, cut in your steak, please. Make sure it's cooked properly instead of just disappearing, right? And just handle that right away. That's a big touch within the restaurant business. Just make sure the customer's satisfied and it's cooked right, or there's not something on your plate you can't eat or anything like that. And that was completely lost with Holland America.
Yeah, when I was in college, I waitressed, and sometimes it's just about delivering the food and a smile. And it's like, is there anything else I can bring you? Just a sentence, anything, Okay, I would like to say, so Holland America food during the dinner service was good food. And we had an outstanding breakfast there. So I'm going to go ahead and say Princess is better and 2 stars better. What do you think?
I agree. It's 2 stars, definitely. There's Princess is distinctly better in the main dining room, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
The next thing we're going to bring up is afternoon tea. So it's fabulous that both of these have afternoon tea. They both tend to do it on sea days around 3 p.m. in main dining room. So far, pretty equivalent. Holland America puts on a beautiful tea. They have the 3-tier dish that's filled with fabulous things that's on each table. So each group of 2 get their fabulous things. So it is kind of bad, encourages me to eat more than I should. It's very beautiful and very efficient. So for Princess, they go around and they ask you what you like, and different trays of food come around, and they continuously come around as long as you're seated there. Typically, the service is very good. I have to say one time, it wasn't out of all the many times I've been there, but the food on Princess tastes way better than that they have on Holland America tea. They also serve those fabulous scones.
Oh, yeah. I love the scones on Princess. I could spoil my appetite for dinner by eating the scones in the middle of the afternoon with the clotted cream and the jelly. And, of course, you got the whole controversy there. Is the jelly on the bottom or the clotted cream on the bottom?
And Princess will also typically bring in some sort of music. It might be two people on violins, something very simple. And due to the preference and taste and the music, we're going to go ahead and give Princess the slight nod and 1 star for afternoon tea.
The next subcategory under food we're going to examine is the buffet. So both cruise lines obviously have a buffet. We found the Holland America buffet to be really a poor layout, and it caused a lot of lines, a lot of congestion. It was just really hard to get the food, and there was just a lot of chaos around the buffet, we felt like. And the food, honestly, wasn't that great. There's a couple things in there that was good, but by and large, it was not that good of food. Princess, doesn't matter which ship we've been on, we find the layout of the buffet to be very efficient. There's not a whole lot of lines. There's not a whole lot of running into each other while you're trying to get your food or anything like that. One thing I liked about the Princess buffet were what they call the action stations. So every day of the cruise, they're going to cook a little bit different cuisine in the buffet, and they would have a little table right there, and they would make that up for you. I really enjoyed, for instance, the jambalaya station one day. We live down in South Texas, do know a thing or two about jambalaya in this area, and they made one that had some heat. I was actually pretty surprised, and I really enjoyed that jambalaya. And you go by there, and they had some soups and some udon and all that the other nights. It was a fun experience, I thought.
Holland America had something a little bit similar. So they have 2 sides of the buffet that are mostly identical, and the staff serves most things. You serve yourself other things. But they did have 2 kind of action stations. Mm-hmm. So they had one that was Italian food.
Yep.
And I know you got something that you liked one day there.
Yes. Yeah, they made some stir-fried pasta. You could tell them what sort of sauce and meat and pasta. And it was good.
And then they had an Asian station. So I went to the Asian station one day. Oh, man, I had something that was amazing. However, I went back another day, thought I got the same food, and it really wasn't good. And then the other thing that was just weird for me is sometimes it was just, I don't know, this trying to move around and do things seemed very illogical. Yeah. For instance, I went in, I just wanted some sushi. So I go over, there's sushi, it's serve yourself. There's no plates at the sushi. Now, I can see behind the glass counter that there are plates for the sushi, but you can't reach them yourself. And the staff has a great big line on the opposite side of the station, so you can't really ask to get the correct plate. I had to go over about 3 stations, a considerable distance, to get a plate, come back through the crowds, help myself to some sushi, but then there's no place to like put your soy sauce and wasabi and mix them up, as you usually do to enjoy a sushi meal. Okay. And I just thought Princess had better selection.
And because of all that, we're going to give Princess 2 stars in the buffet. The next category we're getting into is the food up on the Lido deck. This would be food up around the poolside area and all that. And I will say this, that Princess does have the best pizza at sea, I think. I really agree with their motto on that. And the pizza we always have at Princess is top-notch, and it's always really good, whether it's up by the poolside or down in Alfredo's. However, the burger stand at Dive In just beats Princess. No doubt about it. Those were really good burgers. The fries were good. And it was just a good time right there at that burger stand.
I loved that you could actually order your hamburgers on the app, yep, and you'd get a notice when they're ready. So you didn't have to go get in that long line. You could make your order. And then when you picked them up, they had ways to get the condiments where you didn't touch the same ketchup bottle that everybody else had touched, etc. I thought this was really well done. And that staff was so very friendly on both the dive-ins we went to. I just thought they were fabulous.
Yep. And on Holland America, the New York deli and pizza place also was very good. The pizza at Princess is a little bit better, but that deli had fantastic sandwiches. They made a really nice warm Reuben sandwich and some club sandwiches. Those are very good. What I really liked about that was that they would serve breakfast in the morning. So you didn't have to mess with the buffet in the morning. Go down there, they had eggs and bacon and sausage and hash browns right there. You could get a bagel sandwich with some salmon and cream cheese in it, and you could get your specialty coffees right there if you want a specialty coffee and not mess with the buffet at all. that was all great food. So we really enjoyed the New York Deli and Pizzeria as well.
Yeah, I really liked this. It really was a wonderful option to be able to get a breakfast up there, and it was a quick, efficient, and had a few more items that what Jeff mentioned. I just really loved that New York deli that they have there.
So with all that, we're going to give the Lido Pool Dining 2 stars to Holland America.
The next category is other cafes. And for Princess, this is the International Cafe. And they have this on every ship except for the Island Princess and the Diamond Princess. And for Holland America, this is the Grand Dutch Cafe, which they have on the Pinnacle class ships, and the Explorations Cafe, which they have up there in the Crow's Nest. So the Holland America Grand Dutch Buffet has, really great little Dutch fabulous treats. It has really cute decor. It's very pleasant.
Yep.
And then they have that other cafe that's nice, that it's up in the Crow's Nest. So it's great that they have 2 different places, well, on Pinnacle class that is, that you can get a quick snack. But I do really love this International Cafe on Princess because it has a much bigger selection of food. There's a lot of savory foods, there's a lot of different sweets, and of course you can also get the premium desserts and you can get these coffees.
Yep.
So I do love that. But the best thing about the International Cafe is it's open 24 hours a day. Jeff and I love to close down a dance floor, and it's late at night, 2 a.m. We're just a little peckish. It's great to stop by, get a quick snack before we go to bed. So for that reason, we're going to give the slight nod to Princess and give them 1 star. So the next food subcategory is room service. And believe it or not, this is a bigger category than you would think.
It really is a big category because we drill down and examining this. There's several different facets to room service. One of those is just the card that you fill out the night before and hang out on your door before you go to bed and check off what all of you want, coffee and muffins and proteins and all that sort of thing. And on that, Holland America does a fabulous job because you can get a full breakfast that day. You can have some eggs cooked any way you want them, some bacon, sausage, hash browns, have your pot of coffee delivered there with it. So I really enjoyed that breakfast compared to what you get with Princess, which lacks in the protein area on the card. You can get muffins and everything else. But if you want eggs, it's just going to be like in a really kind of crummy sandwich is the only way you can really get an egg delivered on the Princess card for room service.
My nickname for that sandwich is the cardboard sandwich. And then there's all the other room service. So it comes down to that medallion again. So for Princess, if you have the Princess Plus or Princess Premier package or paid $5, you can get room service for free in your room as long as you order it through the Medallion. And this includes food, but it also includes like adult beverage or a glass of wine. It all shows up free. It's very, very easy, and they have good food. For Holland America, I love its room service is free. That is fabulous. And we had a delicious club sandwich from them. However, like when you call, I wanted just like a soda water delivered with it. And the answer is no, unless you're going to pay extra money for it, even if you have the drink package. However, they would bring me a glass of water. So I thought that was very disappointing on that with the room service for Holland America. The second issue with this is that you had to pick up the phone and call. So once we called, we ordered the club sandwich. It was great. Another time we called and I waited on the phone for over 15 minutes and no one ever picked up. I think we decided we had a breakfast bar in the backpack. We just eat that. So that was pretty disappointing. So for measuring the pluses and minuses on both, we're going to give Princess the nod and say they get 1 star on their room service.
So the next category is specialty dining. Both ships obviously have a lot of specialty dining restaurants on board. And there is a little bit of overlap on them. Like they both have a catch by Rudy's on board. That was actually outstanding food. I loved the fish at Rudy's. That was some of the best fish I've ever had in my entire life. And the Italian point, like the Sabatinis at Princess, And those are very good restaurants, outstanding food in all cases on those. We really enjoyed it.
Just kind of an interesting little thing, I think, is that Princess Specialty Dining gives you a lot more food, sometimes more courses, more, just generally more food. And every course is delicious. So sometimes it's kind of hard for me to, not eat all the food.
Within the specialty dining services, we felt like the Holland America was a little mixed bag in terms of the quality of service. We had some good service in Tamarin. We had some other service that was a little stuffy, if you will, maybe, on a couple of the other restaurants that just wasn't as friendly as what we got with Princess. We felt like Princess is a lot more friendly, a lot more open. Every time we've been at Sabatini's, they just make for a good time. It's kind of entertaining and really want you to have a good time while you're doing all that. So we felt like Princess had better service within the specialty dining.
Yeah, and for that reason, we decided to give the nod to Princess, so it's just a 1-star differential. Our next category is service. So this is service non-associated with any dining room. These are the cabin stewards and the waiters who are bringing you drinks and just, general service around the ship. And I really just want to say first is the service aboard a ship. Everyone works so hard and they don't get time off. They're dedicated to making everything fabulous in your life. And I so appreciate them. And I think that crew appreciation is a fabulous thing. I'm happy the ship takes care of it. We also like to give extra tips to individuals who've done special things for us and help appreciate what they've done. And a big thing I'd really like to mention is regarding to that survey. So most cruise lines, if crew members are called out by name for doing fabulous work, usually the cruise line will do something special for them. For some of them, they get extra days off, but something special. So we really highly encourage everybody to do your cruise survey and to acknowledge people who have made your cruise special.
Yep, absolutely. It makes a big difference to those guys.
And a pro tip is, take a picture of just folks' name tag, and that way it's easy to find the name so you can give them accolades in that write-up. So we've been cruising with Princess for years, and boy, we are always greeted with such warm smiles, and everybody is just so amazingly friendly. Love that about Princess.
It's very good. We do like it. Princess has top-notch service. Everybody's so friendly. They're very engaging with you, and they want to make sure you're just having a good time on your trip. We had some really good service with Holland America, too. We had some room stewards that were really good. We had some outstanding waiters that really took good care of us on board the ship. So both ships have very good service.
One thing we noticed that Princess does better is just that special communication and interaction if you have a special occasion.
Yeah.
So we have had an anniversary when we've been on Princess, and all day people have wished us a happy anniversary.
Yep.
When we go to our room, we have like this fabulous poem that, our room steward's written. And I'm sure he's used some version of that in the past, but it really made us feel special.
It really did. And one time we're on there on my birthday, and they always wish me happy birthday all day long. So it really just goes back to the medallion, because that medallion lets them know that it's your anniversary. They let them know that it's your birthday, because they have their tablet right there and they can see right away it's birthday or anniversary or any other special occasion you may be having. So they know to engage with you about that and make your vacation a little more special that way.
We've had other ways where Princess just made us feel really special. For instance, we're out on Lido deck and we see a maitre d' we'd seen in the past. We say hello to him and chat a little bit. And he goes, "Hey, do you guys like ice cream?" And he sends over a special dessert to us, just all on his own. It didn't cost Princess hardly anything, but didn't we feel fabulous that he'd remembered us and did something nice? Absolutely.
That was a good memory.
Both of these cruise lines have fabulous service, but Princess just making you feel special on those special occasions, for that, I'm going to give them a slight nod and 1 star.
Our next category is guest services. And guest services for us on looking at all this was really a lot about communication and having a dialogue with guest services and getting closure on them. And a big fundamental difference there is the Princess app. Princess app allows you to have the crew chat, and you can get into a conversation via text or chat, whatever you want to call it, with the guest services rep and solve whatever problem it is, whether it's a maintenance problem, a problem with your bill. You have that, and most importantly, at the end of the conversation, you have closure. You know what's going to happen, you know what the next steps are, or it's done, everybody's happy. Compared to that to Holland America, they do have a little text box inside their app, and you can fill out something there and it goes to guest services, but that's it. You don't know if anybody's read it, you don't know if anybody's going to do anything about it, and there's no closure on it, so there's no communication with that, and that is a really big deal compared to what Princess offers through their app and their guest services.
So over the years on Princess, we have had several things that needed to be fixed, etc. We've had good communication with them, things have gotten fixed, but best of all, we had terrific communication. So on Holland America, we had way more problems than we typically have. And the grades on this aren't about the number of problems we had, but about communication and how well they were resolved. Princess, one time in the past, I'd ordered something that was very special at guest services. It was a meal thing. I'd left him a note that there had been a miscommunication of some sort. We went on our shore excursion. We came back. I'm sitting over there having a glass of water in the atrium. And a ship's officer comes by and talks to me and go, "Oh, we had thought this is what we're going to do to fix the problem." And he did all of this way before we weren't even elite, and we certainly weren't vloggers yet. It was so thoughtful, and we were so appreciative. So we had several different items that went wrong on the combination of these cruises. One of the biggest examples of this is there was a problem with the drainage system, and we had water come up through the floor into our bathroom. And we talked to guest services about it. We went on our shore excursion. We had no notes if it had been fixed. However, the next morning we found out that it certainly wasn't repaired. There was still that problem. So that's kind of a major thing. And on other different items, we weren't really happy with the resolution or how things went down with guest services. I won't dig into all the details. They must have also felt bad about it because they did send us a bottle of wine in our cabin. But all in all, from the cumulative things from guest services not resolving things and not communicating well, we're going to have to give Princess 2 stars for having better guest services. So the next category is laundry. And this may seem strange, but this has affected us with cruises. The first cruise we took our daughter to, she threw up on me on the airplane down there. And I felt like I spent a fortune to get a pair of jeans washed. So while we were traveling with children, we loved going on Princess cruises because they have self-serve laundry. So things happen, we could clean up and wash after them, especially if you have 4 people on like a Caribbean cruise day where you have all this wet stuff. Loved that we could just go wash everything and be all clean and spick and span, all 4 of us tacked tightly in a cabin. So that was a big deal for us that Princess had that. Now, Holland America, unfortunately, does not have any self-service laundry, but they do have laundry you pay for. So now we're elite now, so we have Princess do our laundry, and we've paid for Hal to do our laundry. And when it's getting done by the cruise staff, both do a really good job.
And here's a pro tip on doing self-service laundry on Princess is that because every deck has a laundromat on it, if you go to the laundromat on your deck and it's backed up in a big waiting line, try the deck above you or below you, because I've been times I've gone down a deck and there's no waiting at all, or it's open machines, and you get that through there real quickly. And it's also kind of fun to kind of listen in the laundry rooms. We have a friend that kind of gets all the gossip out of the laundry room sometimes because there'll be some people in there hanging out and get some good stories about the ship and all that way to share at dinner time and all that. But because of the self-service laundry that Princess has on every single deck, we're giving them 2 stars in the category of laundry. Our next category are packages, and packages that you can get on board from the cruise lines. And in case of Holland America, it's called the Have It All package. And in Princess, it's called Princess Plus or Princess Premier, depending on what features you get. We've done a lot of videos on these, so check out our video if Holland America Have It All package makes sense, or if Princess Plus or Princess Premier makes sense for you as well. There are also a whole playlist we have of these evaluation videos. The Have It All early booking package, if you can get that with Hal, is the best deal out there at sea. We've compared to other cruise lines, and it's really good because it includes everything. It includes the gratuities, the premium Wi-Fi, premium drinks, shore excursion, specialty dining. Everything's in that early booking Have It All. But keep in mind, that if you book that early, and we're talking like 24 months, 18 months in advance, really early on that cruise, and you have to make a change, you will lose the early book and have it all, and you'll just have regular have it all. In that case, Princess Plus is the better deal out there. Princess Plus has the most bang for the buck of anywhere in the cruise industry, with the exception of the have it early booking, have it all package. So get the Princess Plus or the Princess Premier. If you're on a Sphere class, it makes more sense with all the specialty dining. Because both of these packages are so good within the cruise industry, we're going to call those equal because they just beat everybody else out there, and they're both very good packages.
The next category is Wi-Fi, which is very important for us for both the channel and for different things we have to do with work and family. And Jeff has been in the software business for over 25 years. And Jeff will typically measure stuff like the speed of the internet. And he does these things, for his personal knowledge and I think fun. So I'm going to let Jeff answer this one.
So within the internet, the Princess has the Starlink, and if you have the Princess Plus or Princess Premier, you get the maximum internet with them right out of the chute. So that's the best internet they'll offer on there, and it is very good. We've done speed tests north of the Arctic Circle, at the equator, middle Atlantic. It's always screaming in there very well. On the Holland America, they're switching to Starlink. They're not all the way there yet, but it was slower, and if you get the Have It All package, you only get the very bottom internet. So you have to pay $5 a day to upgrade to the premium internet. And then that's worthwhile in some cases because it does make the internet tolerable. They actually offer their very fastest package is another $20 a day, which is ridiculous to pay for. One item on the Wi-Fi we did encounter was at the Koningsdam when we were in Alaska. Had absolutely terrible Wi-Fi. And it actually had just trouble holding the connection in the mesh with the phone staying attached to the ship's Wi-Fi beyond just the internet. The Statendam had great Wi-Fi on it. It was very fast every time we checked it. In fact, it was really screaming. We had the premium package on that, and that was really good Wi-Fi for us to use with. We're going to give Princess 2 stars just because you get the max Wi-Fi coming right out of the chutes with the either package, and it seemed to be a lot more consistent with fewer lost packets.
So now it's that time where we start talking about our summary on things.
Yep.
I just have to say, both Princess and Holland America are absolutely fabulous cruise lines, and we have had a great time on every single cruise we've taken with either one.
Absolutely. They're both very good products. They're a lot better than a lot of other products out there we've been on.
I really want to stress that these are both amazing cruise lines. If you're looking for top-notch itineraries, they have some of the best in the business. Yeah. If you're looking for enrichment talk, they are the 2 best of all the major cruise lines.
I think they have great shore excursions. The part of that enrichment and the itineraries that they bring, that's a key part of it. They have great itineraries and great shore excursions.
And I think they have both of these 2 are also some of the best live music in the industry. Yep.
And they both do a great job with organization on the ship. Their ships are great, they're laid out well, and they handle the crowd well so you don't feel crowded or cramped anytime in there. It's very easy to find a seat. Both of them do a very good job with that.
Jeff just hit upon one of the most factors for me for selecting a cruise line is I want it to be well organized. I never want to feel like I'm stuck in a huge crowd of people, and I hate standing in line. These 2 cruise lines are really awesome.
Both cruise lines are amazing products, and we really enjoy them both. So, Becky, if you're going to go to a destination where you want to do a real deep dive on that destination, which cruise line would you choose?
Ooh, that's a great question. They are both terrific for enrichment. And it's just a slight nod toward Holland America here. So I would start by looking at the itinerary. What are all the ports it's going to? How long will you be in each port? And then I would start looking at price points. And based on that data, I would pick a cruise.
So now we've done all the discussion and analysis. Let's go look at the scores. Here are the final scores of all 22 categories we looked at. You're welcome to stop the video and look at these a little closer if you want to.
We know the categories and scores are very subjective. We broke it down into things that mattered to us.
And finally, here are the grand total. Holland America Line had 7 stars. Princess Cruises had 19 stars.
We have been discussing this video for weeks, But until we sat down and started putting numbers to the score, I really didn't know what these results were going to look like.
Me either. I was completely surprised about it because like I said, we talked about it a lot. We've decided how we're going to present it, and then once we got down in it and started looking at it, I was shocked that there's that much gap between the stars on there. And then we did a little more analysis looking at that, and we think it really came down to two different things: why Princess had so many more points than Holland America, and that just came down to simple communication and the medallion itself, which actually helps with communication as well. Those two things really seem to slant things towards Princess. Carnival Corporation removed the medallion over to Holland America in addition to Princess, and just do some training on better service in the dining room and the specialty dining and on guest services. I think Holland America would be right up there with Princess, and I think we'd be really close to tied on those scores overall. So let's talk about Alaska for a second. Both cruise lines have been in Alaska for decades. They're two of the first cruise lines out there. They've been there forever. They have a big presence with many, many ships in Alaska. They know Alaska very well. Becky, which cruise line would you choose to go to Alaska?
That's another great question.
Thank you.
So I do believe that these two cruise lines are absolutely the two best cruise lines to go with to Alaska, and I truly love them. Once again, I would check Itinerary because there are certain line packages, etc., on what you're looking to do for your trip. Next, I would consider who's in your group. So if you're traveling with children, I would lean toward Princess, and especially if your children are teenagers. Both of them have children's programs, but teens really like to hang out with other teens. There's going to be more of them aboard Princess. I would lean toward that. And I must confess, I am influenced that we took our children to Alaska when they were in the preteens and teens, and they had a fabulous time on Princess Cruises.
We have done a lot of videos out there, and we have a whole lot of playlists on our channel on various destinations, embarkations, comparison of different packages. So you can find something out there that'll be useful for you, and a lot of them are focused on Holland America and Princess.
We hope you've enjoyed this video.
If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe, and please make sure you got your notifications turned on. It really helps us out.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.